Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whenever and wherever you welcome back to the Peter Plan, playing Planescape Torment. And well, last episode I walked into this museum. And this museum, well, we're going to look around a little bit because it is just a lovely thing and just gives you a feel for the planes. So we're going to do that a little bit. So enjoy! 10 minutes of atmosphere. And you should definitely pick that up at times, because that just makes the setting. Dark birds of Arcantus. Several shards of black crystal or ice swirl within the freezing wind that this ornate pedestal gives forth. Each shard looks razor sharp, touching or grabbing on could be perilous. A placard on the pedestal reads, "Dark birds of Arcantus." Oh, leave them be. A set of 4 paintings which portray an empty beach in the dead of night. The air around the painting smells faintly of brine, and the painted sea seems to ebb and flow across the darkened shore. The placard reads, "Karasutran Shoreline." And Karasutra, well, that is the eastern setting within the world of Urf, which is the same as, probably a lot of poor people are more familiar with, the Sword Coast, Faerun, for instance, where Baldur's Gate plays, or Neverwinter Nights, or Icewind Dale. Yeah, Karasutra is on the other side, beyond, well, the great deserts, and beyond Anarch, all the way to the east. Oh, sniff at the painting. The surface of the painting smells strongly of sea air. And touch the painting. You place your hands on the painting, not quite knowing what to expect, but it's merely the texture of paint canvas that you feel beneath your fingertips. Yet it flows and moves and sniffs like sea. The painting depicts a shore scene with a wide reddish orange sun setting beneath a peninsula of large jetty. I almost want to say Jedi there, I think. The scene, though unoriginally, is breathtaking. The play of the fading daylight across the water is captured perfectly. But staring at the painted sun for any length of time makes your eyes ache. A placard reads, "Surface of Thalassia." Well, I'm not going to explain for everything here what there is, but Thalassia, yet another world. Oddly enough, also this is just a normal painting if we touch it. And I wouldn't advise you to touch every painting in a normal museum, but this one you kinda have to. This painting shows an enormous granite keep. A hideous thing, long and low. By the way, a bit weird how it's stated, but I think the maker that this painting should actually be reversed, but yeah. Or not reversed, but give it a 19-degree shift upwards. Counterclockwise. Covered in leering gargoyles, suspended in what looks to be the night sky. A cloud of crimson and violet vapor swirls in the background. Along the right side of the painting, a placard reads simply, "The Library." Stained glass. The hundreds of chips of translucent green glass which make up the stained glass window don't appear to be held together by anything, but rather remain free-floating and mysteriously suspended within the iron frame boundaries. The shards ripple and move in slow, mysterious waves, causing bizarre patterns to fluctuate across the window's surface as various portions of it refract the Galleria's light in different directions. A small placard beside the window reads, "Arcadian stained glass window. Arcadia, a plane of law." Or actually, yeah, no, a layer on the plane of law, I should say, I think. Because I don't think the world plane itself is Arcadia, but now I'm maybe confusing a few things here. Sorry, there's always a lot of things in the Planescape setting. This painting is a dark cityscape, a faraway view of some great giant center of civilization being burned to the ground. The streets of the place are empty, however, absent of soldiers, refugees, and even corpses. A placard reads, "The Folly of Udo." This looks to be a subterranean landscape, a massive cavern interior filled with colorful, faintly luminescent giant fungi. A placard reads, "The Ville beneath Clangaddon." This is the portrait of a grotesque, hooked-nosed old crone. The hag's flesh is a sickly blue-grey in color. Her eyes glow red like the embers of dying fire. Her chin, long and sharp, juts forward in an extreme underbite. 2 yellowed canines protrude upwards from her lower jaw, like small tusks. The smile upon her withered purplish lips speaks of horrible secret. A placard reads, "Grey Hag of Oinos." As you begin to turn away from the painting, something draws your attention. A strange tingling sensation arises in the back of your mind, a memory beginning to surface. You recall standing confused in the maze of briars. The hideous crone from the painting is before you, crackling wildly. You grit your teeth in frustration, wonder why she's laughing at you. My poor, dear, lovely man-thing, she croons. Why, that was your first wish. She points a single bony clawed finger at your forehand. Your temple begins to throb painfully, and you can remember nothing more. Well, that story we know, if you, have read the story, actually, of Anna. Or I think it was Mort said that story. A brilliant ruby statue stands on this pedestal, carved into it the image of a winged humanoid. The figure is either demonic or angelic in nature. I would say demonic because to me these wings look like bat wings. I don't know if YouTube has enough screen resolution to see that, but I am recording it at the same screen resolution as I'm playing it, so hopefully if you have it on full screen you can see that. But it is difficult to tell which, because it reflects the light in the gallery strangely. There's no placard to indicate what exactly the statue is. This statue looks like it's about to make some angry proclamation. The sculptor has captured the essence of fury magnificently. The chiseled tension lines around the neck and forehead alone must have taken many long months to get correct. Fine cracks run over the entire statue, and there's a plague attached to its base. Examine the cracks. You carefully examine the cracks that run like a network of fine black veins across the statue's surface. At one point, near the arm, there is a section where an entire splinter of stone looks ready to come off. Break it off. You reach for the section of the form where the cracks have formed, grip it firmly and yank to no avail. You'll need a hammer to break the stone, and a small one. The limited space between the statue's arm and body mean a large one suitable for combat, for instance, won't work. Well, we have one. We have two little hammers. One we took from a freaking... okay, the game is not reacting to the fact that I actually have small working hammers. I know it says crushing damage, but this it literally says work hammer. This should work normally, but it doesn't. Which is unfortunately, because that is something I want to have. But let's read the plague. The plague reads, the statue is believed to be the final state of the Tiresian sorcerer Gangroig Giron. Attacked by a conclave of rival sorcerers at the height of his dream madness, he was imprisoned within a spell that turned his flesh into stone. Gangroig Giron is said to have been frozen within a final awful curse still upon his lips. A curse so terrible that it was never meant to be spoken by the lips of a living man. I'll leave the statue. The surface of this painting, a wild collage of vivid colors, ripples constantly as if it were the surface of a pond during a light rainfall. A placard reads, Wave Motion Study number 7.
I'm gone.
A painting of tall black cliffs against a blood-red sky. There looks to be figures hiding amongst the crags of the cliffs, but whenever you squint at the painting to try and make them out, the image fades into nothing. A placard reads, Outland Raiders. This painting, an abstract work of greens and purples, writs and ripples as it is watched. Close examination reveals that the actual painting image is changing rather than the canvas itself. Its placard states, a moment's glance from the walls of Mokma. Oh, leave it. This painting shows what looks to be an infinitely long stream of bibulous green gas, stretching out into the darkness. The horizon of a blasted rocky plain can be seen in the lower right-hand corner of the painting. One is given the impression that the head of the green cloud is ready to strike down upon it. A placard reads, Hazazut, at the consumption of Nagar. And the last piece, but not the least. An animated bloody iron chain, coiling and uncoiling upon itself. The chain itself seems to blend and weave like the spine of a snake. A small placard reads, a chitin's animated chain, from jangling Hitler. Leave. Yeah, there are actually demons who can control change. And this is Ivana. Before he was a well-dressed elderly woman in a gown of peach-colored and golden threads. She stands quietly, her hands folded together prayingly, and nods in your direction. It is then that you notice that she has no pupils. Her eyes are entirely white. Greetings, sir. I'm Ivana, and welcome to my Galleria. Feel free to look around, spending as much time here as you like. Should you have questions regarding any of the pieces, do not hesitate to ask me. I have some questions, Ivana. One moment, sir. Your voice, it is heavy with age and wounds. Would you be so kind as to permit me to touch your face? Well, what is up with people, women wanting to touch my face? But alright, go ahead. Ivana smiles, gently running her old hands over the skin of your face. She frowns, looking slightly puzzled. So many scars. Above old and new, they seem to... She touches the side of your throat, flushes, then pulls away. Pardon me, sir. I was curious to see how far they went. It's fine. And they're everywhere. My whole body is scarred. Ivana nods. I had some questions. Of course, please ask. Can you see Ivana at all? I believe she's blind by choice and not by circumstance. Says Fall from Grace all of a sudden. Ivana nods, smiling. Your friend is quite correct, sir. I cannot see, but only because I do not wish to see. In time I will allow my vision to return so that I can re-experience the contents of my Galleria with the benefit of new, fresh eyes. Alright, I had another question if I may. I had a question about one of the pieces. The statue of the Screaming Man. The statue is believed to be the final state. We know that. It is said that the fury of the curse was enough to blister the flesh from bones of those that heard it, and that it could even shatter the stones themselves. Well, let me ask about another piece, the Chitin's anime chain. The city, there we go. The change comes from the city of the jangling hitter. The city of change that hangs on Minaus, the third layer of the plane of Bader. The chains there are the finest in the multiverse. But the inhabitants of Jingling Hitter are malicious and cruel, using the chains as living weapons against all that enter their city and violate their laws. Chitins move about the city of chains as spiders upon webs, adorned in chains woven tightly around their body. Chitins possess a power known as the Gift of Change, which allows them to manipulate chains with their minds. They believe that my Galleria's chains was animated during a battle in which the Chitin controlled, and yet was slain with a cursed hammer, its life essence then passing into the chain itself. You have some exotic things, definitely, and you can ask about anything that she has, but there is one more thing I kind of want to ask it. One of the pieces, the ruby statue. That piece was found in the cathedral on the fertile fields of Elysium. Oh, well, that is a plane of extreme goodness, and like neutral good, but so good you don't even want to leave. It's kind of creepy. On the first layer, Amoria the Untroubled, where it's bordered the river Oceanus. The name of the piece is not known, but the skill and craftsmanship are believed to be one of the most striking examples of gem crafting in the plains. The mere way in which the piece captures, distills, and enhances the light through its facets is part of its breathtaking wonder. It seems to bring the light to possible ideology connection between even the most evil and the purest beings of the multiverse. Fascinating. I can understand that, yes, and sorry that I'm not giving her a special voice, but she's an old lady, and my voice is, well, giving in a little bit, and I can't do a graveling old lady voice today. At least, not with any quality that I would appreciate. I think we're going to end this. I am kind of disappointed I can't break off the piece here. I am going to buy a new hammer. But in order to buy a new hammer, in order to do some other quests, we are going to go up in here. And also this is a location that I let my players come across because this might just be my favorite shop in all of Sigil. Shop, I not say location, but one of my favorite shops. And yes, her skin is blue for a reason. Her name is Vrishka. Or Vrishka, depending on how you can pronounce it. This sharp-featured woman's appearance is attractive, though somewhat disturbing. With her blue-black skin and bright yellow eyes, she examines you, a small pair of bat-like wings, which unfortunately they did not animate, unfold from her back, then seem to settle back into her skin. Well, a floating disembodied, perforating skull. And fall from grace. Or whatever it is you call yourself now. Truly a pleasure to see you here. What do I owe the honor of your visit? I thought that you rarely trafficking among our kind anymore. She glanced at you for a moment with the same faint sneer. Or is your assignment here almost finished? Wait, what? Is Fall from Grace here to seduce me? And are you then a demon? I do not know what assignment you are referring to, Vrzyska, though your presence here brings it with many questions. Last I had heard, you were a standard bearer for the company of the Vulture. How did you come to Sigil? Which means that, well, this is fought in the Blood War, where demons and devils fight against each other. She replies curtly, fire questioning back like an arrow. By choice, and you? Where will your orders take you next? She suddenly turns to you. You see, little man. Vrzyska smiles as if savoring the words. The best temptress is one that can make you buy into the illusion of being both promiscuous yet virtuous at the same time. A prostitute priestess, as if it were. Mistress Grace is among the greatest. She turns to Fall from Grace. Are you not? You wouldn't think that a score or 1,000 years of slavery have left their scars, no? I think we need to question Fall from Grace a little bit here. Fall from Grace speaks with a coolness that you've never heard before. The air almost becomes ice as she dissects Vrzyska with her gaze. That is enough. Very well. They are the ones who came into my Imperium. Vrzyska looks to you. She narrows her eyes. You, you're the scarred man who's been going around asking all the questions. She looks you up and down. You sure look lost. Did you want to come in really, or are you just casing the place because you have nothing better to do? Because Vrzyska, she indicates herself, can help you. How can you help me? I travel and trade extensively. I hear a great deal. I purchase a great deal. I should pronounce that properly. And I own a great deal. Perhaps I can make you a great deal. Is there something you desire? I only am answering some questions at this moment. I'll entertain any questions about the merchandise, but I'm not going to draw on one of your famous 20 questions about anything around the spire, understood? Understood, but why are you, and what are you, Vrzyska? Vrzyska signs loudly. An aloof find, and half-demon. My mother was Tanari, a fiend, and my father a great king of mortals. Such a rude question. But then you're rather rude-looking yourself, aren't you? I had another question, if I may. What did you mean by calling Maud perversiting? How do you pronounce it? English, you should really start to understand partial words every time they're saying, because sometimes an A is an E sound and sometimes an A is an A sound. So what is this? Is this... I assume it's pre-vericiting, and that this pre should be for vericiting, but then still. Pre-vericiting, misrepresenting, perjuring, dissimulating, lying. Oh, did I say that? I meant the floating disembodied, pontificating skull, as in dogmatic, always stating an opinion in a self-important matter. Vrzyska smiles innocently. I wonder how did you know all that? Though I agree, he is indeed a floating disembodied, pontificating skull that is stating things that are already understood, and thereby, well, misrepresenting things. He is not really adding a lot of things. Another question. You and Fall from Grace seem to care little for one another, despite you both having demonic backgrounds. Oh, that by Tezu camp follower who's made her own home in Sigil. Curious, no? But then what better a place to train her agents than that little brothel of hers? By Tezu camp follower? Ever since her mother sold her into slavery, she's been a plaything of the plains for many a century. She claims that she was able to free herself from her chains, but you may give that word as much credence as you would give the word of any other Tanari bitch. She smiles lightly. Myself excluded, of course. Right. It is the truth. Truth? Truth? One does not win free of Baitezu contracts, bitch cloaked in human skin. You're speaking lies, and all the Tanari holds know it. from the lowest legions to the other comfort-suckling succubi, and as they cavorted across the plains. Fall from graves was but a Baitezu slave from the moment she was born, and so shall she always be. You're still an indentured plaything of the Baitezu to be tortured and commanded as you see fit. Vriska sneers. You even behave as they do. Yes, that's interesting because she is lawful. It's true. One may win free of Baitezu contracts if one is wary of the wording, and if one realizes that the Baitezu are beholden to keep their own word. One must simply be aware of any meanings that may be twisted to their ends, and I am well versed in language and its subtleties. Even so, it was not an easy matter. Enough! I do not care to hear you speak your lies in my presence. Fall from Grace maintains her flawless composure and simply nods. Then when you catch her eyes, she gives you slightly exasperated looks, then smiles. Right. Both demonic ancestries, but apparently sold into slavery. But now that the word is out, she is truth about it, and we never did really ask, and just didn't presume such a thing. What was it said about her agent's training? Yes, they are eyes and ears in the city of Sigil and across the plains. What they do not see or hear they may coerce from another man that has seen or heard. And who could think humans capable of such deception and trickery? Oh, Grace is indeed a clever one. Not as clever as her mother, perhaps, but clever nonetheless. Her mother who sold her to slavery, you just said a moment ago. That is not the purpose of my establishment. Oh, but of course not. Did I dare suggest such a thing? But perhaps you should let the man judge for himself. Ruzhishka turns to you, eyes blazing. Do you not wonder, little man? Does the method of a reason and curiosity ever enter your mind as to this matter? Does not the arrangement of the brothers seem strange to you? Ruzhishka goes on before you can answer. Occam's razor can leave a scar, but it can remove the cancer so often caused by poison of liars and imaginers. And now here she is traveling with you. Most curious. Why would someone, a proprietor of such an establishment, believe it for any reason? And for a man she barely knows? Questions, questions. The answers may be painful indeed. He is well aware of why I agreed to travel with him, Vrishka, when he asked me to do so. Oh, I am certain he did ask. What man could resist? Vrishka sneers and looks away in disgust. I like to see your merchandise in this case, because this is not getting me anywhere. Would you care to examine the weapons and charms, or some more exotic items? Oh, the exotic items. And here comes the good thing about this shop. Vrishka smiles as you look at the various shelves in the middle of the shop. If you see nothing you like here, there are more items towards the front and the back of the store. Well, we want a lot of stuff. We want the metallic cubic figurine. You examine a small metallic replica of a cube-like creature with huge eyes on one of its faces. The toy has 2 legs, 2 arms, 2 folding wings, and at least 18 points of articulation. Vrishka smiles as you pick it up. A collector's item, perhaps, or a piece of artwork. Who knows, but I like it. If you do buy it, ask around. Someone might know more about it than I. You can have it for only 1,500 copper commons. I'll take it. Oh, that is a lot of money. But we've gained a very interesting item, trust me. Yes, Vrishka purrs. A wise choice. The copper you pour into her hand seems to disappear the moment it touches her palm. She hands you the item. Please enjoy your newest acquisition. I want more of the exotic items. I want I don't want the Gorgon Solve yet. This can undo, well, human to stone stuff. This gives him speech to one can not speak. Echo, yes. Comes to mind, yeah. The mouth of any living... Here, see? It said that placed into the mouth of a living thing, it will give the ability of speech. So, well, we know what we're gonna do with that. That is a monster jug. It's a jug, it gets a monster trapped inside. 123 only. More or less, get a free battle. The front of the store. Chocolate Quasit baby oil. Vrishka picks up one and presents it to you. Interested? It's the real thing, of course. Thousands of mewling mortal babies went into making up the stuff. No thanks. Let me see the other stuff. Yeah, that is this type of shop. That is baby oil. But, ooh, elixir of horrific separation. You examine a bottle labeled an elixir of horrific separation. Vreshka presents it to you. This stuff was compounded by a scholar who found she possessed a darker half, a side of her which took control at times and bade her to do awful things. Dr. Jekyll, Dr. Hyde reference, except that it was a he in that case, but nonetheless. This potion was to have split the darker half away from her, creating two separate beings. Mercy killers, however, found and executed her for a string of depraved murders before she could use it. I would charge you only 200 copper commons for the elixir. I'll take it. Well, and again she purrs. Oh, those are normal items. Don't really want to buy that. This is a powerful hammer, but we are not playing as a fighter. Permanent +1 constitution. For lawful good characters. Yes, but we are currently neutral good. But yes. Would love it. Summons the Soheman. We haven't seen them yet. We haven't seen Trowns yet. Don't want to give that away yet. We will see them later. Don't worry. Dread Bond. +1 to strength. But that's for fighters only. Not useful. Teeth of the Fiery Drake. +1 enchanted immunity to fire. It's pretty good for Mort, but I kinda want to do some other stuff. Raise Dead. We can already do that ourselves. Sorry, yes, I want to buy something. I want to look at the exotic items. I hadn't looked at everything yet. Rune-covered ill stain. We don't need it. Yevra's ring, stained lance, tattered ragdoll. Front of the store. Devastator. The fiends tormented the imprisoned angel for eons before he last escaped. The small body holds the 12 tears he shed in that time. 12 tears! For eons of torment. That's a powerful deva. Codex of the Inconceivable is interesting, but I'm looking for an item. Perhaps I might have overlooked it. The tattered ragdoll is interesting, but not something I want now. Is Jeffra's ring it then? Ah, yes, that is it. You examine a ring in a small padded case. Vreshka holds it up so you can see it more closely. This is Jeffra's ring of almost invisibility. It makes it very invisible. Well, almost. I will port for it for a meager sum of 349 commons.
I couldn't carry anymore, so I had to drop it.
Oh, well, that is definitely something we should not do near a fiend. But yes. And, ring to boost our armor class.
A ring without a proposal? How improper.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize we were that close already. You haven't been traveling me that long.
Yes?
And yes, this makes her, as you can see, a little translucent. Instead of her normal self. And then we have, well, some other items we are carrying with us. But, well, we have done it for now here. Don't worry, we will be coming back and buy more of these exotic items. But that is for next episode. And in the next episode, we are going to do some combat. It's time for that. It's time to loosen up a little bit. We are going to, of course, get rid of the horrific separation bottle. We know where to go with that. But then we are going to go and do some battle. And in the meantime, I say, I thank you for watching. And remember, great peril yields great beauty.